Well, yesterday Fitz had a tantrum. Let's see what he wants. Well, I'm back battling an old nemesis of mine. This is something I haven't dealt with in a long time, but it is an old car problem. And that nemesis is vapor lock. I was doing some deliveries and stuff quit running on me. Pulled over to the side of the road and, it was a warm day out. The engine wasn't warm, but there are some spots here that can cause some problems. And this car, this truck was a little known to do so. A lot of that old stuff was. So I've got a spacer that we're going to throw in, and we're going to throw in a fuel filter with a return line. And that fuel filter, I'll show you later, does have an orifice to help control that, so we can, maintain a good fuel pressure. So to give kind of an overview of how I know, what we're dealing with here is. So as I was driving, I felt and then it felt like I ran out of gas, and I checked the gas before I left, and I had about a third of a tank of gas. And my initial thought was like, damn, I ran out of gas. This is a weird fuel tank. Maybe the tube doesn't go all the way to the bottom. I don't know. I don't know what's in there. I've just been kind of rolling with it. So I was like, fuck. And, trying to restart it, it was like it didn't have any gas. So got the gas can, and I was like, well, I'll go, the gas station wasn't too far. I'll go get some gas and we'll start diagnosing. And so I drove down, got my gas. Well, drove down. I walked down, went to get my gas. And, a really nice tie-dye wearing deadhead pulled over and gave me a ride. His name's Dwight, so thanks, Mr. Dwight. He got me back to the car. I put some gas, about 4 gallons. It was a 5-gallon tank. Put 4 gallons in there, and poured a little down the carb. Started right up. I was running. I was like, maybe it's out of gas, And so I was driving and got a couple miles closer to home. Did the same thing, and I was like, well, I know I didn't burn through 4 gallons of gas there, so. For some reason it's getting starved. Pour a little down the thing, starts right up. So then I started looking, fuel line touching the head here, the metal fuel line, the fuel pump was warm, mechanical fuel pump, and the rubber line was touching up here, the metal line was touching down here, the fuel pump was warm, and the carburetor sitting right on the manifold. This is and it was like 95, 98 degrees out. So just got done going to the store, heat soaked it a bit, So all the stuff was there. So the next day, I got it home by pouring gas down and driving a couple hundred yards, pouring gas, driving down a couple hundred yards, shutting off, getting it home. And next day came out. Because I also didn't think, I was like, well, maybe it's a clogged fuel filter, there's other things. But, so I got there in the morning, took the hose out, put it into an old soda can, and poured a little gas down there, started it, ran it for like, a second, shut it off. And I was expecting the cup to not have any fuel in it, because I was figuring it was going to be, this was a fuel filter issue. But came out and that can was half full. I was like, damn, we're pumping. Also could have been a fuel pump, I was also thinking that. So I was like, fuck, it's vapor lock. So that's what I've come down to. So it could be that, something was clogging the filters of the line and then settled, but I looked at the filters. I have glass filters, they all look fine. The one on the bottom of the pump looks fine. The tank looked fine on the inside. Nothing was clogging any lines. So I think we're on the right track here. And right now it starts and runs beautifully. So let's do this. Let's get the spacer on. and then we're gonna run a hard line to the rear tank, and here, let me get the filter. So I bought this Wix fuel filter, Wix 33040. This guy, it's $8. You'll see it has 3 nipples on there. You have inlet, and I try to get these as close as I can. I haven't done this probably since high school, but you got to get this as close as you can to the carburetor. And your inlet outlet goes to the carburetor. This guy, which has an orifice, and I think it's like 1/1000th or 2/1000ths of a little hole there to regulate, the backflow. And this is just a vapor separating fuel filter. And this line goes back to the fuel tank. And I'm going to use a rubber line to the hard line to the fuel tank. And not only will this release vapor, but it does keep a constant flow of fuel moving through the lines. So it helps keep and back to the tank where it's the coolest. So it helps keep the fuel pump cooler and all that kind of stuff. So usually, in most cases, you just need this. But again, the hard lines, the other thing that's really a way to fix it, even if you didn't want to do this, is electric fuel pumps, because the electric fuel pumps just keeps a better constant pressure. It's not attached to the engine, and usually, they're back there by the tank underneath something, not near the engine heat, and usually just that and this will solve. You can be in Arizona, and that usually what solves it. Some things need a little more love, and usually it's the older stuff. The older, just technology. I don't. 70s stuff was a little different because there's 20-year difference between these two, just with technology. And so with this one, kind of prone to it anyway. We got the new kind of gas with ethanol, the whole thing. So let's just do it all. Let's have this. Let's put a big spacer in there. We're going to keep the mechanical fuel pump for now. But if these two things don't solve it, then we'll look into the fuel pump. But yeah, let's get to installing. So to give you guys a close-up of what I saw so I scanned this with my digital thermometer, and this was running like 115 degrees here. This was running like right around here, was running like 140. And you'll see here you've got a steel, we got the steel manifold, and then a steel I'm not sure if it's steel, but it's a little bit of a riser here, but then the carburetor and these Edelbrocks don't help with the situation. But so we're going to pull this away, and then I'm going to insulate this line. We are going to get the hose and get it like to where it's not touching anything up here. Get the riser done, and that should solve it. That should be good. But I'm just going to take more hose and wrap it around this thing, and then literally wire it up just to hold it like this. And then again, we'll fix that up, get the riser in there, and that should do it. But if we still have an issue, we'll deal with that, because that does get pretty warm. But as long as we can get the filter in and everything, we should be good. So I haven't adhered it or attached it anyway, but I ran the line and we're getting ready to put on I flared the ends, and so I'm gonna attach that so we can get it to the tank. Whew. If that makes sense. So the tank right now, I only have a little bit, this line is just, old brake line. But, so I'm going to put this on there, and then I'm going to put this over the top, and hope that can hold back a low pressure for now, until I figure out a way to attach, I think I need to get a reducer is what I need. Can you see it? Okay. Okay, so I got that a ways on there. Then I'm going to put the gas line over the top of that with the situation. And I have no idea if that's going to work, but we're going to try it for now. And then if it holds, cool. If not, I will get a because I'm not worried about in between here. I'm worried about in between the things, but in my mind this works perfectly, obviously. In theory, we'll put this right to the end here. I'm sure there's people out there right now going, oh my god, he's doing the thing. And I'm sure you're right. I'm almost positive this isn't gonna work. But here we go. If that works, it'll be a fucking miracle. Okay, so now let's loop the hose over to the gas pump. The gas tank, not the pump. Okay. And then we'll come back, get this all wrapped up. So now coming through the access hole. See this here? We got to hook it up to this bad mamma jamma. There it is. And so I'm going to cut that just about the right length so not too baggy. So let's cut that. Let me get my turd cutters. All these turd cutters because they usually can't cut a turd. Alright. On there, and I knew this was going to be a pain in the ass because I only have this one fitting and it's huge. We're going to have to do some stretching here, but it'll get on there. You know what I forgot to do? Forgot to put the hose clamp on there. This shit's on so tight. Could probably get away with a zip tie. But let's see what we can do. Fucker, and it's kind of messed up, but I hit it with some WD-40. We'll see what we can do. Bought these one time. But they got the little tack welded in piece situation. And I don't like them. I think they'd be helpful, but they're somehow worse. Alright, let's go button it up down there. Alright, so we got our hard line ran, and I'm installing this insane looking spacer. It let's see you guys. Yeah, it makes me laugh. This thing is just like this ginormous spacer. I know probably normal looking to people out here that use them all the time, but I've never used a spacer before, so it's new to me. Like an old man. I am an old man. So I'm not sure how hard to crank down on this thing, but I'm not going to crank too hard because because it's plastic and all, but I gotta get it hard enough. That's why I'm using this 1/4 inch. Gotta get it hard enough to where it won't, you know, leak gas out. Give everything one more little boom. Alright, now we got a big old phenolic spacer. Whatever that means. Hopefully it means we don't get vapor lock anymore. Well, let's get this other line figured out here. Get my turd cutters. Okay, so we got the turd cutters. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this fuel line so we can install the, let's see, so we can install the fuel filter, and then we're gonna run the line up here. And I showed you it before, but let's get this, I'm just going to cut out a length here because it's kind of long anyway. So we're just going to cut out a length because I want it like right here. And again, I've never done this either before, so I'm going to put a bias towards the top here, you know, to help, you know, air goes to the top, right? Vapor. Let's see. Sorry, there's a really funny thing happening. Okay, anyway, we're not going to comment on that. Put this off. So right there, let's cut it like, right here. See, that's why I call these turd cutters, because they can't cut a turd. Okay. I was expecting more gas on that. Q. Okay. One minute. And there's a short one. But we shall see. And let's cut it right here. Okay. So now pull this cover off here, which is going to be easier said than done. I hate when you have to struggle with like the easy shit. Like, I got like real stuff to deal with here. I don't want to fight this lid. Come on. Okay. Deal McBob. Boom. Shakalaka. Alright, put this back on. Here's the deal. And since it's just carburetor, it doesn't have to be too tight. You know, well, not just because carburetor, but, you know, this fuel pump, this fuel system isn't a real high pressure fuel system here, so you don't have to go nutty with it. You know. Okay, let's get this one tightened on there. Insane, I'm insane. So fucking insane. I hate doing stuff like this because every time you put in a joint here, that's, you know, a place for failure could happen. So I try my best to put in as little failure points as possible, but in this case, that's how we're gonna have to do it. Suspension, that right there, huh? All right, now let's do the little one. Now this one, with all honesty, we may be holding it on with a zip tie. Let's see. Again, it's on there so tight. I don't know, guys. Maybe it'll just stay on there. I'll be right back. I have to go make a vegetable delivery.
2 hours later.
Let me know if everything starts on fire. Everything should be hooked up. See any leaks right now. That's cool, like gas is pumping. Let's go check the underside here. No leaks down here. Smells like exhaust though. Let's check up here, I guess. Fuel's flowing. Nothing's leaking up here. Yeah. I guess let's go take it for a drive in the heat, see what happens.
Yeah, 350 or 250?
It's this one's a 250.
250, yeah.
Yeah. Used to be an old Julian mine truck.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Cool.
Alright. Well, driving around for about a week now.
Is that right?
No problems yet. It's been nice and warm. No vapor locking. No clogging. Seems like it's okay. Actually really perked it up. So, I'll probably use more gas.